This is YOYOKA. Here is my video. Enjoy! Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Next, Godzilla alert!
Hello, this is Heisenberg.
Hey there, this is G Forever, and we are Luminous News from YouTube. We are very honored today to be able to share with you part 1 of our interview with the late Haruo Nakajima. He was Godzilla himself, the suit actor who portrayed Godzilla from the original 1954 film all the way to the 1972 film Godzilla vs. Gigan. In 2015, we were very honored to be able to meet him in person in our very hometown of Boston.
Yes, we first asked Nakajima-san what his favorite giant monster movie was.
一番好きだったのは強いて言えばサンダー大会エラーかな。自由な格闘ができてね、思う存分暴れた怪獣ですよ。付け加えて言うのはね、サンダー対ガイラでしょ。僕はガイラでサンダーって言いますよね。それがいないと立ち回りできないんですよ、格闘だからそれをうまくやってできる人とできない人がいるんですよ、やっぱり。うまくいかない人がいる。だけど、関田っていう人はね、うまかった割合と覚えが早くてね、覚えの悪い人はダメなんですよ、できない。口だけうまく言ってね、動きが取れない。それはもう、そういうのはダメ。もう口先よりももっとうまく動く人間の方がいいですよ。教えたことある。後輩はいないんだよね、はっきり言うと。新しい作品、例えば僕たちが仕事を辞めてから別の俳優さん、フリーの俳優さんが来てやってるわけでしょ。僕はそんな連中に教えたことない。ただ一緒に仕事をする他の怪獣があるでしょ。それは教えたことあります。現場はそんな変わらないですよ。ただ監督が本編の監督でしょ。助監督なんですよ。監督じゃないんですよ。だから変なのは来て監督やったんだよね。こっちが教える方のあれだよ、逆に。だからもう作品そのものがゴミでしょ、あれは。ゴミ対ゴジラだよね。
Okay, so how did the script change from there on? I remember you had said it was started in 1917, but how did you kind of pull it into 1973?
When they came to me, they gave me the 1917 script and talked to me about making a Kong movie, and I, as a genre nerd and as a fan of Kong and as a fan of kaiju movies, I just didn't know why that version of the movie should exist. I was uncertain what the purpose was. I was psyched they wanted to do it, but I didn't know what made it special. So the cool thing about Legendary and Warner Brothers is they sort of said, well, what version would you make? And so I went away for that weekend, and I thought to myself on what story I would want to tell, what movie I could make. And the thing that excited me was this idea popped in my head about choppers and napalm and like Syrian red sunsets and Kong silhouetted by the sun and Hendrix playing, and this idea of Apocalypse Now and King Kong suddenly blew my brain open, where I was like, no, I've never seen like a Vietnam War movie with monsters. I've heard the Stones and and Creedence play into a million Vietnam movies. I've never heard that, monster movie. And that became this jumping off point, and there's a ton of thematic reasons of why I wanted to do it. There's a ton of sort of plot reasons in terms of them actually launching satellites into the sky and looking down on the Earth with cameras for the first time, and what that meant in terms of like, reasonably being able to sort of discover new things. But I just became obsessed with this idea of choppers and napalm and monsters, because I'd never seen that before. It suddenly felt fresh and different, and it felt like an access point to something that me and my peers and my friends, like, I'd see that movie. And so that's sort of what the genesis of it was. And then I went back to them to pitch it, thinking that they were gonna laugh me out of the room. And instead they said, yeah, let's do that. And I was honestly sort of shocked that they were into that.
I really liked how well Paranoid went with the bomb sequence. That was
Right.
perfect. Yeah,
Thank
it was great. So what Kong movies were like inspiration? I remember on the set visit, I think if I remember correctly, because the audio was so bad, but that you hadn't seen all the Kong movies? Is that true?
I've seen a lot of them. The only one that I haven't seen is Kong Lives. It also depends on what you count as the Kong movies, because it's like you have the 33 Kong, you have Son of Kong, which I actually adore. A lot of people want to write Son of Kong off because it's like a little goofier. I think that movie's amazing. But then it's like, well, do you count Mighty Joe Young? Are you counting those films, the movies that like were very much inspired by Kong? Kong versus Godzilla is great, and then like a lot of people haven't seen the sequel to that. Like there's a really insane sequel to that movie.
King Kong Escapes.
That Kong essentially has like an acid trip, a psychedelic trip in the middle of that movie, and it's crazy. And then so I think the only like canon Kong film that I haven't seen is King Kong Lives, which I've sort of kept it that way for a reason, because
If you want to punish yourself, it's on YouTube in full.
no, I just sort of love the trailer of it so much, and it's such a ridiculous idea because of how long after the fact it was made. That's the one.
I think, they kind of retconned Kong in a way because he died in the 76 one, but this one's like, oh, he lives.
Yeah, he lives, and
Yeah.
it's a heart transplant. Yeah.
So this is like the second Kong American movie where he doesn't get killed. Although he gets shot up and lives and stuff. But the other Japanese one, the King Kong Escapes, that was great because it was off the cartoon show at the
Right.
time. So it was just, that's why it's so crazy. Yeah. But the Kong is it octopus or is it squid?
Well, we kind of refer to it as like a squid, but it's neither.
Mm-hmm.
It's a octosquid.
Yeah.
Because it actually has elements of a squid and an octopus in it, sort of merged together. And that was one of those moments where, like, to me, it was like, well, if I want to see a new King Kong movie, I just started thinking about like the moments that I actually enjoy from Kong versus Godzilla. And it's like, well, I want to see that. Mm-hmm. I want to see that come to life. But that wasn't just like, oh, let me take this scene and do the modern version of it. That scene was also about something to me, which was, it was about not just having this crazy, cool kind of monster fight, but it was also about kind of a planet Earth moment, a quiet moment in Kong's life. What his daily struggle is, like what it is to have to eat and fend for himself, and like the day-to-day struggle that he goes through just to be him. So it was sort of a reference to the Kong versus Godzilla octopus battle, but then also meant to be a bit more of like a quiet, sort of reflective, like character view for Kong.
When he started eating it, it reminded me, I don't know if this was intentional, when they filmed the one in 62, they had used 4 octopuses. One of them actually ended up become like dinner for the crew. So him eating it, I was like, is that like a nod to that, or was that just kind of a happy accident?
That's a very specific nod to Old Boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We hope you enjoy the show. We will continue to introduce successful people from various fields, as well as supporting young up-and-coming talents who are passionate and dedicated to advancing their careers in their industries. Don't forget to tune in. Until then, you have a wonderful week. See you next time.
Let's see who our guest is on the next episode.
Hi, I'm Joseph from Libera. Thank you for tuning in to Creative World. Bye!
See you next week. Bye! Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please check out our social media sites at CWTV Hollywood.